Welcome to Crystal's Curiosity Corner. I'm Crystal, and I want to introduce you to some of the nature that you can find in your backyard. Today, I want to talk about some of the things that you see on the trees and on the ground from the trees in the spring. It's time for flowers, pollen, and seeds. Achoo! It's hard to see the flowers on our tall trees, so we tend to see them when they fall on the ground. Let's start with a bit of a categorization. I'm going to talk about male flowers today. What's a male flower? Who gave flowers gender? Well, we have three main categories of flower. First are the perfect flowers that have both the male pollen-bearing structures and the female ovary that develops into the fruit in the same flower. Then we have imperfect flowers, which have separate male and female flowers. Imperfect seems a little judgmental, honestly. We like all flowers around here, thank you. Anyway, a holly is a good example. Hollies have male and female flowers. They're on separate plants, so your holly without berries could be a male. The third category is those plants with separate male and female flowers, but both are on the same plant. Examples are our oaks and our sweetgums. Our first tree today is the red maple. These are the flowers, and they're found early in the spring. Surprise, the flowers are red. You can see them as early as February in the Piedmont. Early bees are very grateful for the nectar, but they're also pollinated by the wind. The seeds are called Samaras. Every kid knows how fun they are to play with and can tell you how they're dispersed on the wind. Whee! These are the male cones of the pine tree. These are what produce the copious amounts of pollen in the spring that turns everything yellow. The female flowers are small and inconspicuous and will turn into those pine cones that we all know. The actual seeds are tiny and protected inside the cone. After the male cones shed their pollen, they fall on the ground, and that's what you see everywhere. These are the male pollen-bearing flowers from the oak tree. Again, the female flowers are tiny and hard to see and later will turn into acorns. Redbuds are a showy tree that lots of people notice. Here you can actually see the flowers. And yes, I know they're not red, but I didn't name them, okay? The seeds develop into these cool-looking pods, and they are in the bean family. Dogwoods, another small showy tree that we get a good look at the flower, which is probably why they're the state flower of North Carolina. Those pretty white bits aren't actually the petals. Those are the sepal, which on most flowers are a protective structure, but in the dogwood, they're a little bit more showy like a flower because evolution is fun. The flower structures are in the center. They develop into a little mushroom-shaped capsule that turn red when they're ripe. Here we have the male flowers of the sweetgum tree. Again, small female flowers that develop into a protective structure with tiny seeds inside. This one's a little bit more unusual. This is the flower of the pawpaw tree. It develops into an edible fruit. Some people are allergic to the skin, so be careful if you handle them, but they're delicious. The dark color is because they're pollinated by flies. This is the tulip poplar flower, leaf, and seeds. The flowers are pollinated by beetles, which is a fun change, and they often drip extra nectar, so they're also visited by ants. They're also called yellow poplar and often used for lumber. The seeds are stiffer than the maple samaras, but are generally the same idea. The ends are rather pointy for bare feet and puppy paws. Ask me how I know. Here are the seeds of the elm tree, which have a cute little round wing that helps it disperse and spread away from the parent plant. Here are the male flowers or catkins of the alder. This is one that has the separate male and female flowers on the same plant, so you can also find female catkins. These are not quite ripe yet. They're green, and they ripen into these turn into these cute little fruits that are like tiny, tiny cones. All right, thank you for joining me on this exploration of tree flowers, pollen, and seeds on Crystal's Curiosity Corner. Have you seen any of these flowers or structures? I'll do another video on our spring wildflowers. If you enjoyed the video or have questions, please leave a comment, and if you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Stay curious!